Hello there, I'm Sabrina Zainal, and this is Nightline, the headlines. Prime Minister directs checkpoints and border agency to commence duties immediately. And Microsoft announces 10.5 billion ringgit investment in Malaysia. Good morning. We begin with this story. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has instructed the Malaysia Checkpoints and Border Agency, MCBA, to commence its duties immediately, despite related legislation scheduled to be tabled in Parliament in July. He said all agencies under MCBA should start deploying their personnel to coordinate efforts and ensure swift implementation and approval of entries to enhance security and curb smuggling activities.
Jadi orang tanya bagaimana boleh laksanakan satu ini. Saya jawab, puncak kuasa pada pegawai-pegawai berkenaan. Maknanya dari polis, ada pegawai polis. HDN, ada pegawai custom, pegawai custom, immigration dan sebagainya. Maknanya puncak kuasa ada. Oleh demikian, semua jabatan dan kementerian harus menerima arahan ini, menetapkan pegawai-pegawai di sempadan utama sekarang dan melaksanakan tugas.
Anwar said this at the Home Ministry's Aidilfitri celebration in Putrajaya on Thursday. Also present at the event were Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof and Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail. Earlier, the Prime Minister witnessed the handover of the terms of reference for MCBA to act as a coordinator between security and enforcement agencies on border control and protection for 6 ministries and the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC. The recently established single border agency is led by its first Director General, Datuk Seri Hazani Ghazali. It was previously reported that the agency was set up to allow for better coordination among the various departments and improve integrity. On another matter, Anwar said the additional investment by technology giant Microsoft, amounting to 10.5 billion ringgit in the country over the next 4 years, is the largest single investment by the company in its 32 years in Malaysia. The Prime Minister stated that the investment will greatly support the government's focus on developing artificial intelligence, AI, capacity in the country. Anwar said this after he received a courtesy visit by the Microsoft chairman and CEO, Satya Nadella, and delegation in Putrajaya on Thursday. He added that these investments include the development of cloud systems and infrastructure and artificial intelligence, AI, the creation of skills opportunities for an additional 200,000 people, as well as the establishment of a national AI center of excellence, improving the country's cybersecurity capabilities and supporting the growth of the system developer community in Malaysia. Anwar said that Malaysia welcomes such investment decisions that prove their confidence in the strong economic foundation of the country that has clear and direct policies in addition to investor friendliness and political stability. He pointed out that such investments are parallel and will be a major backbone to the country's focus on developing AI capacity in the country. Meanwhile, the Microsoft chairman and CEO said the tech giant aims to train more than 200,000 Malaysians in artificial intelligence, AI, by 2025. Satya stated that it is the company's mission to empower every person and organization in Malaysia to achieve more with the right skill set in the AI era.
Ultimately, in the region, what's the incremental GDP growth? Something like $155 billion, more than 14% incremental GDP growth is projected through AI across all sectors, right? It can be in healthcare, it can be in education, it can be in retail, it can be in energy. So that's the real opportunity of AI.
He also pointed out that any technology is only useful if it can drive economic output and productivity in the country. Many organizations in Malaysia, including education, medical, corporate, and the public sector, have started to adopt AI using Microsoft Copilot, namely Petronas, Ambank, and Prima Corporation Malaysia. There are also more than 600,000 software developers in Malaysia using GitHub, where the community is growing 28% year-on-year. It is learned that Microsoft targets to provide 2.5 million people in ASEAN with AI skilling opportunities by 2025. Microsoft's investment reflects its confidence in Malaysia's strong economic fundamentals, clear policies, besides being investor-friendly and politically stable. Economist Professor Jeffrey Williams described it as a promising development that distinguishes Malaysia as a top destination for digital investment.
It's a very significant investment. It amounts to just under 50 billion ringgit, and it appears that it will be put into place very, very quickly. So this looks very much as if the promises that we have been seeing in terms of foreign investment approvals are now turning into actual investments on the ground, and that's very good news, because in the past we have seen a very large number of investment approvals, but it's taken quite a long time for those investment approvals to turn into actual investments that create jobs and create business opportunities, and in this case that will create up to 200,000 training opportunities. So in the past that has been rather slow to happen, and now it appears that we're seeing a very large and very significant investment in very high value-added, value-creating activities, moving Malaysia up.
Later in the day, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said addressing people's issues such as hardcore poverty, infrastructure development and basic amenities remain an enduring commitment of the Madani government, particularly in Kelantan. The Prime Minister said this at the Madani 2024 Aidilfitri celebration in Tunjung near Kota Baru on Thursday night.
Maka sebab itu saya minta senarai, berapa lagi yang termasuk dalam kategori miskin tegar? Maka disebut sekitar 1,000 lebih. Dan saya beritahu supaya kerajaan persekutuan, terutama diselaraskan oleh ICU, dengan seluruh jentera kerajaan Kelantan, menyegerakan, dan saya beri tempoh 2 bulan lagi, supaya seluruh jumlah 1,000 lebih itu dapat dinoktahkan, supaya mereka boleh hidup sekurang-kurangnya sebagai orang miskin, dia tidak sebagai miskin tegar yang tak cukup makan. Jadi Ketua Pengarah ICU beritahu dia boleh selesaikan dalam 2 bulan.
Anwar also said these issues should ideally be resolved promptly to overcome prolonged hardship for those affected. He also emphasized that the federal government has never neglected to assist any state government and announced a 20 million ringgit allocation to solve the water supply issue faced by the people in Kelantan as well as the farmers due to the ongoing hot weather. The Health Ministry will seek an explanation from British pharmaceutical giant AstraZeneca after it recently admitted its COVID-19 vaccine can cause a rare side effect. This after a UK media outlet reported last week that AstraZeneca had admitted in court documents that its COVID-19 vaccine can lead to a condition which causes people to have blood clots and a low blood platelet count.
Mereka mesti bertanggungjawab, seperti mana juga kita juga mesti bertanggungjawab. Tak ada apa yang mau kita sembunyikan dan untuk kita defend mereka. Apa perlunya? Mereka big pharma, vaccine developer, mereka mesti memberi penerangan dan pencerahan itu kepada bukan saja rakyat di negara kita, globally juga.
The minister spoke to the media after visiting a health screening program at the Tun Abdul Razak Orang Asli village in Kuala Kubu Baru in Selangor. The side effects incidence rate is 0.9% per million. On Sunday, it was reported that AstraZeneca is being sued in a class action suit over claims that its vaccine, which was developed by the University of Oxford, caused death and serious injury in dozens of cases. In other news, teachers will be given greater autonomy in the new curriculum to be introduced in 2027. Education Minister Fadila Sidek said her ministry is now prepping them with the framework under the new curriculum through a series of engagement sessions.
Dalam sesi-sesi libat urus ini telah pun ada perbincangan menyentuh tentang kerangka kurikulum 2027 ini yang saya anggap sebagai cukup signifikan ketika ini bagi menjawab beberapa persoalan-persoalan, kebimbangan dan juga keprihatinan masyarakat tentang apa yang sepatutnya diajar, apa yang sepatutnya menjadi tumpuan fokus dalam pendidikan kita.
She, however, reminded that although the ministry will allow greater autonomy to teachers under the new curriculum, it must be embraced with integrity as it comes with huge responsibility. Fadlina also said that a new curriculum for preschools will be introduced in 2026. The El Niño phenomenon hitting the country is expected to continue for the next 2 months. Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability Minister Nik Ahmad said his ministry and the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, are closely monitoring the weather transition as forecasts indicate this year could be the country's hottest year.
Panas dia memang luar biasa sebab El Niño, tetapi juga ada kaitan dengan perubahan iklim lah. Tahun lepas di peringkat dunia, bukan di Malaysia, di peringkat dunia ialah tahun yang paling panas dalam rekod. Jadi tahun ini pun kalau ikut banyak anggaran mungkin akan jadi tahun paling panas pula. Maknanya lebih panas daripada tahun lepas di peringkat dunia.
Nik Nazmi said this at a press conference after launching an event in Malur, Kelantan on Thursday. He added that Kelantan, Perlis and Kedah are currently experiencing higher temperatures than Selangor and Kuala Lumpur. He also said that the last time such hot weather struck the country was in 1998 in Perlis. Nik Nazmi stated that his ministry is also prepared for haze in the country and across borders based on signs of peat fires. His ministry is also collaborating with the Energy Transition and Water Transformation Ministry to monitor water levels and will conduct cloud seeding operations if necessary. Two insurgents killed in Patani gunfight. News from the foreign front when we return.
Terus terang salah, berkias salah. Sebab salah dibuatnya.
Alah, berbasa-basi sebab nak jaga hati. Susah ke cakap melapik?
Nenas banyak khasiatnya.
Makan macam tu sedap, buat gulai lagi sedap.
Rindulah sukan ikan zaman sekolah dulu.
Bestnya bawa bola dalam sudu, lompat dalam guni, macam-macam.
Hidung gatal berair.
Lah, awak ada resdung ke? Jom kita tanya doktor.
Kata sayang, tak asyik barang-barang marah-marah.
Fahamlah orang macam ni.
Semuanya di dalam Setia 3
dan stream ditonton.
Get ready, ladies. It's time to shatter the stereotype. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smiles. This talk show is all about you. Catch Women Talk every Saturdays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Stream also on Tonton.
We're back with the foreign front. The Zionist regime on Thursday continued its aggression on Gaza with intense overnight strikes and heavy artillery bombardment throughout the Strip. The Israeli attacks have targeted various parts of the Strip, including Madinat al-Zahra and the Zaytun neighborhood, where at least 8 civilians were killed and dozens injured. The army have also struck several homes in other neighborhoods near Gaza City, including Shujaiya, Sheikh Ijlin and Tal al-Hawa. It was reported that at least 28 Palestinians were killed and 51 injured in the past 24 hours. To date, at least 34,596 Palestinians have been killed and 77,816 wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. Meanwhile, in the U.S., hundreds of police swarmed the site of a pro-Palestinian protest at the University of California at Los Angeles, UCLA, early on Thursday, arresting defiant demonstrators and dismantling their encampment. The law enforcement came after police urged demonstrators in repeated loudspeaker announcements to clear the protest zone. The police operation had started around sunset on Wednesday, when officers in tactical gear had begun filing onto the campus and taking up positions adjacent to a complex of tents occupied by throngs of demonstrators. A local television station estimated that 300 to 500 protesters were hunkered down inside the camp, while around 2,000 more had gathered outside the barricades in support. The pre-dawn police crackdown at UCLA marked the latest flashpoint in mounting tensions on U.S. college campuses, where protests over Israel's war in Gaza have led to student clashes with each other and with law enforcement. In Thailand, 2 insurgents were killed in a shootout with police in the Tung Yang Sin area of Patani on Wednesday night, according to Tung Yang Sin Police Chief Colonel Alam Mekarat, after receiving intelligence that armed group members were hiding in Nat Khamis. Over 100 police officers from Patani Region's Special Operations Force surrounded the house in question. Efforts to negotiate and persuade them to surrender were made, but the suspects continued to fire at the police. The incident occurred at 5 p.m. local time and lasted until 9 p.m., with the police exchanging gunfire with the 2 suspects. Checks found that both suspects were wanted under arrest warrants by the Patani Provincial Court and under the emergency decree. Now, over in Brazil, at least 10 people were killed in floods caused by torrential rains, as rescuers searched for nearly 24 others reported missing. Officials on Wednesday said deluge in the state of Rio Grande do Sul have displaced some 3,300 people in more than 100 municipalities, many of whom have been moved to shelters. Persistent rains have also destroyed bridges and blocked roads, leaving several communities in the state completely cut off. Rescuers and soldiers have been scrambling to free families trapped in their homes, but bad weather has hampered the rescue efforts, often in hard-to-reach places. Authorities, meanwhile, have urged people to avoid areas along state highways due to a risk of mudslides, and those who live near rivers or on hillsides to evacuate. A group of more than 10,000 black cab drivers are suing Uber after accusing it of breaching taxi booking rules in London, in a move which could cost the ride-hailing giant more than $313 million. Now, London cab drivers claimed that Uber misled Transport for London, TfL, over how it operated its ride booking system and therefore breached private hire licensing rules. They alleged that the company allowed its drivers to accept bookings directly from customers rather than going through a central system like minicab services. Litigation management firm RGL Management said the total claim value could be more than $313 million, with each cab driver's claim worth up to $30,000. Malaysia reached semis after 8-year hiatus. Action from the Thomas Cup after this breather.
Geng di Lembah Kelang, jomlah beraya di Karnival Jom Heboh edisi Raya Babas di Putrajaya untuk aneka keriangan bersama keluarga. Temui selebriti studio tonton drama sangat seperti Era Fazira, Radin Zaharatul dan Lan Solo, personaliti media prima dan maskot kami. Juga saksikan dan sertai aktiviti menarik, pesta makanan, hiburan dan hadiah percuma untuk semua sepanjang hari. Temui anda semua 3 hingga 5 Mei ini di tapak parkir Presin 3 Putrajaya mulai jam 9 pagi. Jom, jom, jom!
Semalam saya pun kena kacau waktu mau tidur.
Hampa jangan risau. Mak Zubi ada. Astagfirullahaladzim! Hampa berdua boleh buka mata dah.
Mana? Apa pun. Geletak tu ni.
Waktu cuti semester, Khamis hingga Sabtu 9 malam di Lestari TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui tonton.
You were the one for me.
Saat-saat manis Gavin dan Dom tidak kekal lama.
To be your lover, forever Dominic Garcia.
Dan mereka mula saling menjauh.
We're drifting apart.
Ganito na lang ba tayo palagi, ha?
Ketika konflik memuncak, Tony muncul menggugat ikatan cinta. To have and to hold. Setiap Sabtu 12.30 hari. Di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui tonton.
We're back with sports. Badminton, the 2024 Thomas Cup. The national men's squad have made it to the semi-finals for the first time since 2016 after a stunning 3-1 win over Japan in their last 8 clash on Thursday evening. Malaysia took the lead against Japan when national men's singles shuttler Lee Zijia trounced Kenta Nishimoto 21-13, 21-3 in the first singles. World number 5 doubles pair Aaron Chia So-woo-yik put up a good fight against Takuro Hoki Yugo Kobayashi, but went down 21-18, 14-21, 19-21 to give Japan the equalizer. The odds were against world number 37 Leong Junhao in the second singles, but he swiftly restored Malaysia's advantage after crushing world number 22 Koki Watanabe 21-13, 21-10. Goh Jae-fei, Nur Izzuddin Rumsani then turned heroes when they fought brilliantly to beat Akira Koga Taichi Saito 18-21, 21-15, 21-12 in the second doubles to seal the 3-1 victory for Malaysia. The national team will face China in the semi-finals on Saturday after the Chinese beat defending champion India 3-1 in another quarter-final encounter. Still on badminton, the 2024 Uber Cup. Japan's women's squad advanced to the last 4 after defeating India 3-0 on Thursday, putting an end to India's campaign. Aya Ohori gave Japan the lead by overcoming Ashmita Chaliha 21-10, 20-22, 21-15 in the first singles. India tried to pull level in the first doubles, but Shruti Mishra and Priya Konjengbam succumbed 8-21, 9-21 to Nami Matsuyama and Chiharu Shida, giving Japan a 2-0 lead. Japan then sealed the third and winning point through Nozomi Okuhara in the second singles, who defeated Isharani Barua 21-15, 21-12 in just 39 minutes. The Japanese will face hosts China next for a place in the final. Tennis now, the 2024 Madrid Open. Taylor Fritz advanced to the semi-finals after downing Argentinian Francisco Cerundolo on Thursday, sealing his 250th tour-level win. The world number 13, however, battled hard to move past 21st-seeded Cerundolo, winning 6-1, 3-6, 6-3 in 1 hour and 46 minutes in the Spanish capital. Fritz will take on 7th-seeded Andrei Rublev of Russia next for a place in the final. Earlier, Rublev ended Carlos Alcaraz Garcia's bid to win a third straight Madrid title with a 4-6, 6-3, 6-2 victory in their quarter-final clash. The world number 8 put in a dominant performance to come back from a set down to snap the two-time Grand Slam champion's 14-match winning streak. In the women's category, defending champion Aryna Sabalenka eased into the last 4 with a dominant 6-1, 6-4 win over 17-year-old Russian Mira Andreeva. The world number 2 is set to face 4th-seeded Elena Rybakina of Kazakhstan in what will be their 9th career meeting and first on clay. Papagomo charged with sedition over remarks on King. The details when Nightline returns.
Hai jodoh, trend mencari jodoh melalui online semakin popular. Kenapa?
Penyakit mata jangan lebih mudah kena cakna dan rawat.
Kini pekerja boleh memohon waktu kerja anjal tak kira tempat dan masa.
Ramai anak muda jadi jutawan kerana ramai yang mula terjun dalam dunia perniagaan.
Soal wang kepentingan emas katanya untuk menghadapi krisis kewangan.
MHI setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat 9.30 pagi hingga 10.30 pagi.
Di TV3 dan juga stream melalui tonton.
Encik okey ke? Ya Allah, aku buat ni kerana Allah.
Saya tak rasalah ada orang tu pengaruh yang baik untuk awak.
Habis tu, orang yang macam mana pengaruh yang baik untuk saya?
Macam mana seorang nikahbis macam awak ni boleh berubah sampai ke tahap macam ni?
Cari siapa lelaki tu. Boleh nak nikahkan dia dengan Mina.
Walik, adakah nak nikah dengan lelaki tu?
Ini keputusan kami.
Aku Bukan Ustazah mulai 3 Mei, Isnin hingga Jumaat 7 malam. Terbaru di Akasia TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Sakit lutut membataskan pergerakan.
Pesakit akan mengalami kesakitan yang perlu bergantung kepada ubat tahan sakit.
Kualiti hidup terjejas terutama buat warga emas.
Pergi pasar raya pun Umi sendiri bawa kerusi roda.
Kaum wanita lebih kerap untuk mendapat osteoartritis.
Apakah rawatan yang boleh dilakukan? Derita lutut haus, perbincangannya dalam Hello Doktor, Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. Blogger Wan Muhammad Azri Wan Deris, or Papagomo, was charged in the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court on Thursday with posting seditious publication against the Yang di-Pertuan Agong on his X account. Now, the 41-year-old, however, pleaded not guilty to the charge before Judge Siti Aminah Ghazali. He was charged with committing the offence at a condominium unit in Bukit Bintang, Kuala Lumpur on April 29th. The charge under the Sedition Act 1948 provides for a maximum fine of 5,000 ringgit or imprisonment of up to 3 years or both upon conviction. Siti Aminah allowed the accused bail of 15,000 ringgit in one surety and ordered him to report to a police station monthly until the case is settled. The court set May 23rd for mention of the case. The Kuala Lumpur High Court on Thursday upheld the conviction and 12-year prison sentence against Rumah Bonda founder Siti Bainun Ahad Razali for neglecting and abusing a 13-year-old girl with Down syndrome known as Bella. Judge Nurin Badaruddin dismissed Siti Bainun's appeal to set aside the conviction and sentence imposed by the Sessions Court in May 2023. In her judgment, Nurin stated that the court found 18 injuries and scars on the victim's body, proven by all the medical witnesses that they were not accidental or self-inflicted by Bella. She said the court was satisfied that the Sessions Court judge conducted a thorough assessment of the prosecution witnesses, supported by expert medical witnesses who examined the victim. The judge said that the court also found that the Sessions Court judge did not err in his findings, in concluding that based on all the evidence presented, the appellant was responsible for the physical and emotional injuries inflicted on the victim. According to Nurin, the medical evidence consistently indicated that the injuries sustained by the victim were not accidental. Therefore, she said the court found it difficult to conclude that both witnesses fabricated their stories against the appellant. On May 3rd last year, Sessions Court Judge Israelizam Sanusi sentenced Siti Bainun to 12 years in prison after finding her guilty on 2 charges of neglecting and abusing Bella and ordered her to start serving the sentence immediately after rejecting her application for a stay of execution. Siti Bainun was sent to Kajang prison to serve her prison sentence. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at Hari Raya Aidilfitri celebrations at an open house hosted by Surau Al Muhajirin in Bandar Seri Damansara. The festive gathering saw, among others, rich array of delicacies being served and children queuing up as the elders give out Duit Raya. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for tuning in and take care.